welcome to the first edition of Sunset Sessions, hosted by me, Marco Messina. We are back in Zadar for the fourth edition of the Sunset Sports Festival. And the first guest we have, the best Brazilian journalist I've ever met in my life, Isabella Patti.
Ciao Marco, come stai?
Tutto bene, tutto bene.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor. I'm so happy. I'm so glad to have this opportunity. And thanks to Sunset Festival and SofaScore.
This is the second year you've been
Yes,
here, right?
in a row, yeah.
So you enjoying Zadar?
Of course, look at my tan. I was standing on the beach. This place is like amazing. And people are so nice. I'm so happy.
It's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Have you been to Croatia before the
No,
Sunset Festival?
No.
No.
Yeah, the only time I've been here is because of them.
And you're speaking on any panels?
Not today, no.
Okay.
But last year, yes, because I have to change plans. I'm going to US to cover the FIFA Club World Cup, so my flight needs to be changed. It's crazy. I have a crazy schedule in front of me, but that's fine.
You're all over the place. But I will say, for the people at home, yesterday you had to host as well for the SofaScore,
Yes.
the award ceremony. You did a fantastic job talking
Thank
about
you.
the Brazilians. And you're such a professional that even after so many hours of work, we came back at midnight, you told me, I'm going to go watch Brazil play at
Yes.
1 o'clock in the morning. I went to sleep. I'm not as good as you. But what was the score? Did they win 2-3-0? They must have. You played
Very
Ecuador.
funny, very funny. Look at my face. I look so tired because I stay up until 3 a.m. to see a terrible game from Brazil against Ecuador, 0-0.
No, it couldn't have ended 0-0.
Yes,
The
it
great
could.
Brazil, you got Ancelotti, you got the Italian coach.
Wait, Ancelotti just Ancelotti just
Ancelotti,
arrived,
brava.
and we have to be patient because players need to understand what he wants from them. But it's okay, we have more opportunities to see. But Brazil played very bad.
Really? So you stayed up that long?
Yeah.
Just watch a 0-0?
Yes.
I think I made the right
regret
decision.
deep. Yeah.
Were there any positives to take away, at least from the game?
1 point.
Boy,
Because 0-0, we get 1 point in the qualification for the World Cup. We are in the fourth place right now. When this gonna be on air?
right now, we're live.
We're live.
Yeah, we're live. Say hello. My mom is watching right now. Give a wave.
We're live.
We're live.
Oh my God. Okay. So good morning. Yes. So what I was saying.
About Brazil, you got 1 point, and
Yeah.
the top 4 qualify.
Because,
the
yes.
top 6 qualify, right?
Yeah, exactly. We are in the fourth place.
Okay.
Okay. Let's trust in Ancelotti's work, and I think all he has done in the past shows us that we must trust him. And now we have a really coach that gives respect, because before the coach we have in Brazil, they won like nothing. And when Ancelotti arrives, you see, okay, this man, he has a plan. He knows what he's doing. So we must respect and wait until it's good. Because I know we will.
How did the people react in Brazil? Because I spoke to some Brazilians that at first they said, no, we don't want a European coach, we want a Brazilian coach. But now are they okay? Are they happy?
No, we are so happy. In general, in Brazil, it's like, I can't believe Ancelotti is here. Every time a photo shows up, we say like, no, we must be dreaming. Because we were so, since Brazil lost to Germany 7-1,
Yeah.
the sensation we have in Brazil is like we lost our generation. Neymar is always injured. Neymar, we don't know if Neymar wants to play soccer anymore, football. So we must have another plan. And with Ancelotti, the feeling is that we will arrive or we will achieve something. Because there was never a real problem with an European coach. The problem is that the Brazilian coach wants to be there. So they will complain because why you're gonna search for a coach outside of Brazil? We have perfect people here. Okay, if we had perfect people in Brazil, we would have won something. So there's no debate about that right now.
I've seen people say too that obviously the Brazilian generation that maybe we grew up watching is different than the generation right now. And they say Ancelotti's very good with managing the stars.
Yes.
Vinny loves him.
Yes.
Of course. That's one of his favorites. Does he have the superstars to do it with Brazil?
Yeah. In fact, for example, Casemiro, it's been a while that he wasn't being called for the national team. And Casemiro is someone that Ancelotti works for a very long time in Real Madrid, and he trusts his work. Other example is Richarlison from Tottenham. Richarlison, he was away from a Brazilian team because of injuries, okay? But Ancelotti called him because they used to work before in Everton. It's been a long time ago, but he called people he trusts. But I think this first list of players is being helped with people from CBF. So maybe the next one will be more Ancelotti. You know what I mean?
Of course, it takes time for him to be able to learn the players. I'm sure a lot of them play in Brazil
because
too.
it's so funny because Ancelotti doesn't speak Portuguese yet. But people ask in Portuguese in the press conference, and Ancelotti, I don't know if he's understanding because I don't see no one translating for him. And then he answered in Spanish, and I'm sure, 100% sure that at least more than 50% of the journalists don't get it. It's like a comedy.
It's like when you kept speaking to me in Portuguese
all
yesterday, and I don't understand.
No, because Marco, he is from United States. I speak English, but sometimes when my brain is on rush, I start speaking Portuguese. Like, vamos, Marco, faz alguma coisa aqui. And
That
what
I
are you
understand.
saying?
but then you start speaking so quick,
Yes.
and I lose it.
Yeah.
It's similar. Portuguese and Italian is similar.
More or less, because they are calling Ancelotti Carlos. Carlos is a name, Carlo is another name. Ian, they know how to say Gucci, but they can't say Ancelotti. They say Ancelotti. Crazy.
I saw he feels like he got assimilated too to the area. I've seen videos of him trying to learn some of the
I know,
traditions.
he said that, Ancelotti, he said that he's gonna learn Portuguese.
Okay.
He wants to.
Okay.
But it takes time.
Of course.
Even though he speaks very good Spanish, is not the same, guys. Because when someone, you're from Brazil, yes, so they start talking Spanish. No, it's not the same language. People are a little bit crazy, right?
It's different, yeah. But talking about some of those players that are within the squad, it was really cool of you yesterday during the SofaScore award ceremony. You have a relationship with players because you're so great at the way that you interact with them and you make them feel comfortable. And Rafinha was one that you got a video to be sent out.
Yeah, this is a very good thing. When SofaScore team told me Isa Rafinha won 2 trophies, 2 awards, and he's the only player who won 2. Can you ask him to send a video? I said, okay, I will try, but Rafinha actually is with Brazilian team in Brazil. And I said, okay, I texted him on WhatsApp, hi Rafinha, you won 2 trophies. Oh really? I didn't know that it even existed. And I said, yes, we're gonna arrange to go to Barcelona the next season to give you in person. I said, nice. So Rafinha, can you send me a video? Okay, what should I say, Isa? And I say, wait, I'm gonna send you a text. But the guys from the team here, they said, we need 2 videos. Guys, 1 video from a player is already a tough job. 2 videos. And I said, okay, Rafinha, in fact, you won 2 trophies, and in the ceremony, you're gonna show up 2 times.
Okay.
First, Champions League. Okay, Isa, can you write down what should I say? I say, okay. So I wrote him a text. Okay. For the next one, La Liga. And I said, okay, Rafinha, you're gonna appear the second time, so you should say, hey, another trophy. Because if you see the video, we have the video to show or no? Maybe no.
Maybe we can insert it.
Okay. And Rafinha said, olha, mais troféuzinho. He said like, oh, another little trophy. It's so cute. But before that, he was like, silence on WhatsApp. And I said, oh my God, I hate pushing people to send things, you know? Yeah. But I said, okay, please, Rafinha, it's very important to me. We're gonna have the show tomorrow. It was before yesterday. And then he said, okay, Isa. And I slept because in Brazil it's 5 hours before. I slept here in Croatia. When I woke up, Rafinha sent me 2 videos, like, and I sent right away to Pete. And
Very
Pete
nice.
was so happy.
That's not an easy thing to do.
No.
Not at all.
Everything with players is never easy because you never know what's gonna happen.
100%. And they're busy. They have a million people messaging
Yes.
them. But it probably says a lot about the way that you've interacted with them and
Yes.
the way that you've built a relationship.
I have a fun fact with Rafinha. Recently, I went to his house in Barcelona to record a video for my YouTube channel. I have like Isa Visita, it's like Isa Visit, and I go to players' house, etc. And then I have a lot of things because once you have this opportunity to have an interview, you never know when you're gonna be the next one. So
Yeah.
I try to do everything I can during that moment, and Rafinha never complained. We were like shooting.
Yeah.
I said correct.
Yes, right. You're
We're
right.
shooting during 3 hours, and inside my mind I was like, okay, maybe he's tired. And I said, Rafinha, are you tired? No. If I'm not enjoying it, I will say to you. So we continue. And that time I was tired, not tired. I was hungry, and hungry.
You remember the word. Give me a high five. Yesterday, I taught Isa a word, and it was hangry because she was telling me that she's hungry, and of course you get angry.
Because when
It's a nice word.
when I'm hungry, I become like a monster. Give me food.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, and then Rafinha said, no, Isa, let's continue. He didn't say, oh, sorry, I have to go, I have physiotherapy, I have whatever. No, he was there. If I want to shoot with him, film 10 hours in a row, he was accept.
Wow.
This is very valuable for me. And that with the interview where he said about Italian national team.
I couldn't believe it. So
Me too.
I was scrolling, and then I see Rafinha could have joined the Italian national team. Something that in Italy, by the way, nobody knows. And then I scroll down because we always give the credit to the source. I see Isabella Patti.
I know that name.
I said, I think I was with her in Croatia last year. And then I texted you right away,
Yeah.
and I couldn't believe you broke news in all of Italy.
Yes,
you were on Gazzetta. You were on Sky. You
Not
were
even
everywhere.
Italy, in the whole world. I
In the world.
received from everyone, look, you're here, there. Brazilian, of course. And so I'm proud of this because this shows that if you put players at ease,
Yes.
they can tell things that they only say for friends. It's not that I'm a friend of them, but in my work, I try to be as soft I can so players can feel very at ease to say things like that.
And where did you learn that? Was it you seeing other interactions?
No,
And
in fact, it's my way of being. I'm like that in life. I really care about people histories, about people lives, and I love to learn with them. So my work, what I love the most is to humanize stars. So people see Neymar, Mbappé, but they are human, even though we don't think they are. But they have the same problem as we do, but they are millionaire.
it helps.
Yes.
Doesn't solve everything.
It helps, but yeah, exactly. So my main thing is to discover and to unveil new stories from players that never been told before.
But how do you do that? Because a lot of players, rightfully so, they're skeptical. They could be stabbed in the back from their best friends, from journalists. So what's your approach? How is it different to other people?
Because first, I think I'm putting the same level as him. It means I speak like they speak. For example, using terms that I'm gonna say in Portuguese because we can't translate. For example, e aí, cara, como é que foi?
Cara means like cute?
It's like, how do you say when you talk to your friend and you use not polite?
Yeah.
Not polite.
Yeah, just speaking in like normal terms.
Yeah, but
And
very
a little slang.
Yeah, slang, exactly. So I do slang. I put myself. I'm smiling.
But you're yourself.
Yeah, I'm myself, and until now, that worked very good.
Wow.
So this is my main thing, to put players at ease so they can speak very good, like we were friends.
It's refreshing. Yeah, I have the same mentality
Yeah.
as well. I think it's the right way. I
Yes.
think it's the normal way. Who else have you been able to develop relationships with
And then,
in the sports world?
Marquinhos, because his wife, he's my friend, it's very funny because when COVID, when lockdown started in France, I was in Paris, and Carol, Marquinhos' wife, called me, Isa, come here to stay with us because they have a huge house. We were like more than 20 people together, and I stayed 2 months with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes, during COVID in Paris.
So you must have been really happy when he lifted the trophy.
Of
in the
course,
Champions League.
because I consider as if they were part of my family. Because during 10 years, I lived in Paris alone. I don't have family. And Carol, Marquinhos, Marquinhos' mother, father, they all I don't know, a support family for me. Yeah, they embraced me. They opened the doors of their house, and I always knew how to split things. They are my friends. They are like family. But when I need to do my job as a journalist, I will do. So there's no conflict, really.
Do you ever get into like a weird point with any players where you have to say something,
Yes.
or you have to ask a hard question?
One time I was in Madrid. PSG was playing against Real, and at that time, Daniel Alves, Neymar, Thiago Silva, they were playing for Paris Saint-Germain. Something weird happened. Unai Emery was the coach that time, and Unai Emery decided to put the captain, Thiago Silva, on the bench.
Oh, wow.
Against Real Madrid, a huge game. Okay, after the game, I don't remember the score, but I think Paris Saint-Germain lost. And I asked players like Neymar and Daniel Alves. I said, guys, so don't you think that how do you felt when you saw that Thiago Silva was on the bench, the captain, and they stay like, I don't know. I cut their words, and they was like no words to explain to me. And okay, cut this part. Few days later, we were doing something at Marquinhos' house, and Daniel Alves were there, Neymar was there, and I show up, and they said, Isa, you fucked me up.
No way.
And I said, why? What kind of question? No, but joking.
Okay.
It was not like bad. But I said, guys, listen, sometimes I will have to ask questions. It's my job. You are the right to not answer at all if you don't want.
Yeah.
But I need sometimes to ask questions that is going to be not comfortable for you.
Uh-huh.
But it's always on a good mood. It's not like, I hate you. No,
Okay.
we're laughing.
Okay. You never had a bad interaction?
No.
That's good.
No.
That's lucky.
It's always, they know what I need to do, they respect what I do, but if they don't like what I'm asking them, they are the right not to stop.
That's true.
Yeah, but one day I told Neymar, when he arrived at PSG, I told him, Neymar, I don't know you yet, but if you can stop in mixed zone after the game of PSG, because in France, even if you don't have the rights of Ligue 1, you have a position after the game to ask players questions. But they are not, how do you say, obligated.
They
They are not.
They don't have to do it.
They don't have to do it. They do if they can. But I said, Neymar, listen, it's very important. If you can stop some games after the game to talk to us, I'm going to try to explain to you, Neymar. When you talk to us, to the media, that time, 2017, it's like if you were scoring a goal in a Champions League final.
For you.
And I said this to him because I don't know if I'm being clear, but that time in Barcelona, Neymar never talked to the press.
Okay.
Yeah, 2017. When he arrived at PSG, I was covering PSG. It's been 3 or 4 years. And I said, Neymar, you just arrived. I don't know you well, but let me say you something. If you can, after the games, sometimes stop and talk to us. It's very important. And he said, okay. And I tried to explain to him how he could understand how important it is when he talks. And I said, when you, Messi or Cristiano, stop to talk to the press, it's like if you were scoring a goal in the Champions League final. It's so important, come on. And he said, okay. And then I had so many interviews with him.
That's such a good way of putting it.
Yeah, I tried to.
Yeah. You contextualized it for him.
What?
You contextualized it.
Yes,
You put it into
exactly.
perspective.
And exactly. That's what I do sometimes, so people can be on my shoes.
Yeah. So why was he not talking to people at Barcelona?
maybe Barcelona, they had a different way of conducting media. Like in Real Madrid, they are very close. It's not like you go there, you interview whatever you want, whoever you want. In PSG, it was different. They were open, very open.
They were Hollywood.
Yeah, no, they were learning how to deal with stars. It's so fun because I was remembering with my friends to how insane it was. I was in PSG every game at the Parc des Princes, and after the game there was a piano, and I play piano in the VIP area.
Okay.
So I finished my job, and I started playing, recording myself. And one day, a security guy came, and my friend, other journalist, was with me. Isa, he's arriving, stop. And the guy said, oh, so nice, can you play that one? So the security guy, it's insane. And Neymar, Thiago Silva, Marquinhos, sometimes they were doing a samba after the game in the stadium, in a VIP lounge. Yeah. So it was really open. And that colleague, my colleague, came from Barcelona, and he was shocked. Oh my God, this is so another world, because in Barcelona we can't do this, impossible. But here in PSG, you journalists play piano. It's crazy.
That's funny.
Yeah.
One thing I learned about you recently is you're a real hustler.
What?
You're a hustler.
Hustle.
I told you this word yesterday too, because it can't be easy for a woman coming from Brazil to break in to the men's game.
Being a woman is already tough.
That's what I mean. So how did you deal with those challenges?
Because I never put like myself in the, oh, I'm a woman, respect me, No, I just do what I need to do, and my work will speak for myself. So I prefer to work hard and show things when it's done, because there's a lot of comments on social media, she doesn't understand nothing about football, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I have the best coach. Every time I have a player, for example, I have 5 minutes with Kylian Mbappe when he renewed with PSG.
Wow.
5 minutes, 5. What do you ask in 5 minutes? So I asked something, blah, 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 but there was it's like an exclusive interview, but it's not exclusive because there were so many spots, like Brazil spot, me, Italian, France, whatever. And I said, okay, I must ask something different. And in the last question, I asked him about the FIFA Club World Cup, because in Qatar it will take place in December and he renewed in May, so like 8 months to go. And I said, how do you see Brazil, the South American club team, and he said, I think the problem with the South American clubs is that they don't play against high level.
This was you?
Yeah.
He gave the quote to you? I remember this quote.
Yes.
It went
I think
around.
they show in the locker room, I don't know how to say, vestiário, before the game to the final between Argentina. Because imagine Kylian Mbappe saying, no, they are not good. And then Argentina win the FIFA club. The FIFA World Cup.
So you played your hand in the World Cup, is what you say?
Yeah.
Because that video?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was you.
Yeah, because, it was me. I'm sure you after,
Yeah, you got a really good quote. Is that your favorite interview of all time?
No, because it was quick.
Okay.
The favorite interview is when I have time to really tell a story. 5 minutes with Kylian Mbappe is nice, but I can go deep.
Okay.
Which
was your favorite?
It's hard to say. I have a lot of quotes, very good quotes that was in all of the world, but I would say Rafinha recently, because Rafinha, he showed me a different part that I never could imagine. For example, he reads books, he's very intellectual, it's different from a regular player. So he said that he hates staying in the phone. He put phones away and he started reading books. It's very nice to talk to him. You can learn a lot.
So getting back to just the hustle that you have and the way that you've just grinded your way. You travel all over the place. Sometimes we see you pitch side at the Champions League. Then you're going to be doing the Club World Cup you just mentioned as well. How did you actually get started? Did you go to school for this? Where did it begin?
It began when I was 12 years old. 12.
That's young.
Yeah, when Brazil played the World Cup 2002 when we
You
won
yeah, I know, I
Pentacampeão.
remember.
And that time I felt something with football that I understood that time that was very different. So I was young, 12 years old. You don't know what you want to do in your life. But at about age of 17, I was leaving high school and I needed to decide what I was supposed to do. I liked that time three things: acting, singing, and
I can see this.
acting, singing, and football. And then I started studying, and almost my friends in school, they were men. So I played soccer, terrible, but I played. My boyfriend that time, he played very well. So we always learning and talking about football. But finally, the moment I decided to really put myself into it is when I went to it's not that I went. I wrote, for example, do you know the rates of the players? In Brazil, we have like L'Equipe, but in Brazil...
Okay, the ratings, yes, the player ratings.
Yeah, but the fan rating.
Oh, okay, fan rating, I got it.
I send them after a Palmeiras game. Palmeiras is my club, the club I support in Brazil. Palmeiras, I send the rating of each player, and they published. At my face, Isabella Patti, notas do jogador, rating, players rating by Isabella Patti.
Do you have this?
Yes.
Still? Do you have it like in your room?
Yes.
Oh, that's so
and then I
sweet.
said, okay, that's a good sign.
Was that the
Let's
first
continue.
taste? Like,
Yes.
I want to do this.
Yes, but I wasn't still in the university that time. I was 18 years old, I guess. Yeah. And then I started doing a lot of things. I had how do you say? I had a manager at certificado de treinador de futebol.
You were you're certified to coach?
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes. It was like 5 intensive days in Brazil with Parreira, Filipão.
So a coaching course.
Yeah, coaching course.
Coaching course, okay.
E like Sindicato dos Treinadores do Estado de São Paulo, CITREFESP. It's for São Paulo especially. Okay. So that's it. And I start loving things. But before I ended where I'm now, I was only a producer.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
What a story. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. You said you could dance the samba.
No.
Can you teach me?
I don't know how to dance the samba.
You just said it.
No, I know how to sing, to acting.
Okay. Brazilian. I thought every Brazilian immediately
God.
You know how to samba.
No, let's try to do another thing.
What can you teach me? Give me one move.
Ai, que vergonha, velho. Assim, ó, pera. Ó, you do like this.
Like this? Good enough.
Oh my God,
thank
Marco,
you, Isa.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
Grazie, Isa.
Thank you.
You're the best. Welcome back to Sunset Sessions, hosted by Marco Messina. It's the 4th annual festival here at the Sunset Sports Festival, and I'm joined by Ana, who's next to me. Can you pronounce your last name for me so I say it properly?
It's Berbatov.
Berbatov.
Yes.
Berbatov.
Yeah. Do you want to know the meaning behind the surname?
Ooh, there's a meaning?
Yeah, there's a meaning. So in Croatian, Berbatov in southern Croatian means white mustache.
White mustache.
Yeah.
So somebody in your family had a white mustache?
Clearly not me.
You never got to the origin story of this?
No, never.
No.
Someone must have had a prominent beard, mustache.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last name is Messina. It's a place in Sicily. So anyone I meet, they think that that's where I'm from. We have no idea who's from there, but we're not from there. It's weird.
It's okay.
Your last name is more interesting than mine. It's a
debatable.
Better story. Better story. I know which one I prefer. Is this your first time at Sunset Sports Festival?
It's my first time. Yeah.
Are you impressed by the turnout here in Croatia?
Absolutely. I mean, normally around this time, what do we have now? Midday. People in Croatia take naps, have lunch, whatever. But to see all these people here networking, having a good time, watching the main stage, listening to panels, it's really incredible. You know, it sort of goes against everything when I was growing up, goes against everything that sort of Croatians are known for, and I love to see how far we've come that we can put up these events in this tiny country.
It's so funny you say that because this is my 4th year in Croatia, coming every summer, and I've seen like the opposite. I feel like it's so many people that are business oriented, that are focused on work, that are trying to hustle, businesses being created. I mean, obviously SofaScore is here, but every year it feels like we're learning something new.
So you're saying it's changed?
100%. 100%. I think it's just the influence of people, people like Mate Rimac, who has the electric car. It's just we're putting Croatia on the map, and sports has always put Croatia on the map, right? So since the foundation of our little country in the 90s, sports, the Olympics, football, the World Cup, where Croatia, went to the semi-finals, etc. These were the first bits where people were like, hold on, what is this tiny country? Who are these people? Why are they so good at what they're doing? And yeah, since then, since the 90s, we've come such a long way. And actually seeing not only Croatian people, but seeing, you guys from CBS here, America represent, just people from Brazil, we've just heard, people from all around the world. It's just brilliant.
It's pretty cool. And you have a diverse background. Because your English is better than mine, so clearly you didn't just work
my British English, yeah.
Yes, the British. It sounds better than my Brooklyn accent. What's your story?
Okay, so my story is I was born in Germany, in Munich. Big up, Bayern Munich, my team. To Croatian parents, my mum and dad are from sort of the rural region of Split, sort of countryside Split. And they left Croatia in the late 80s, moving to Germany, and then I grew up in Munich, 18 years of my life, living there, going to school, etc. And then somehow I got a bit of a travel bug, and I was like, let's go to the UK, let's move to London, literally the hub of football, hub of sports, and this is what I wanted to do. This is why I moved to London. There's no other city on planet Earth that has as many professional football clubs as London. So that's a place to be. 18.
18?
Yeah,
And you
yeah,
went
yeah.
alone, by
I went
yourself?
on my own. Yeah,
You weren't
yeah.
scared? You didn't want to just stay where your family was?
No, I wasn't even homesick, Marco. I was
like your
not even. I love my
Are you
family.
But you were okay?
No, I was great.
Wow.
I was like doing my thing, and I always had quite a clear vision of what I wanted to do, and just sort of went after it.
So that explains the English.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the World Cup already, and I know
Yeah.
you've covered 2 World Cups as a journalist. Who do you go for though? Because you went to Germany at a young age, born there. Do you go for Germany or do you go for Croatia when they play?
Croatia. It's in the heart, Marco. You would go for Italy as well, wouldn't you? Yeah.
It's like not even a question.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
Americans always think it's strange.
I know.
Back home in Germany, do they say it to you like, oh, you need to support us, or are they?
No, they don't. They understand,
Okay.
because they know that Croatians are quite proud people. And I think from early on, living abroad, you're almost more Croatian than people living in Croatia, if that makes sense,
I think they said, somebody told me that. I think Munich has
Yeah.
the second most Croatians.
Yeah, over 200,000 Croatians living in Munich. It's insane. It's probably the same amount of people living in Split, in the second largest city in Croatia.
Wow.
Insane.
Wow.
So there's a big community, we all hang out, we go to church together, we go to mass together, hang out afterwards, go for drinks, so it's really beautiful. So I sort of got a little bit of Croatian sort of society in Munich, even though I've never lived here, but I still had this piece of sort of homeland, as I would call it.
I could totally relate to that. It's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I never lived there properly, but it felt like home. And I feel like it's in our blood. It's something that you can't fully explain.
No.
So obviously you're very proud to be Croatian. Did that sort of impact why you wanted to be in sports, why you wanted to be within football? Because I've learned, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that Croatians love their sports.
Yeah, we do. So I've never actually played sort of professional sport. Volleyball was my main sport growing up at school, etc., even after school. But football's always been in our blood. My family's been involved in football. My cousins played. My dad played a little bit. He played in Singapore.
Did he?
My dad played 1 season or less than a season in Singapore, which is hilarious at 19 years young. He was a good player. Unfortunately, he had some setbacks with his health, etc. But he's fine now, thank God.
Good.
But he really looks back at this time as something, in late 80s Singapore was crazy. So I got to experience that through my family, and I was always drawn to the football pitch, no matter where you are in the world. And you probably know that you've covered lots of games all across Europe, all across the world. Wherever you are, once you walk into a stadium, it feels like home. It's the same feeling, right? It's the noise, it's sort of the feeling, the little buzz, the prickling of the skin when you walk into a stadium. And I love that feeling, and this is what I wanted to do. And I was like, if I get to do that, no work day will feel like actual work.
Wow, it's beautiful. And I think what you said reflects the work that you do, because you like to go deeper than just what's on the pitch.
Yeah.
Your love is storytelling, and
Yes.
that's what you've been able to do with your work.
Yeah.
Where does that come from, and how did that start?
So boring, actually. I studied journalism, I did sports journalism, so I always wanted to be part of that, as you said, storytelling, knowing how to tell a story properly. And I think it evolved, right? So 10 years ago I went to university and I started learning about it. But when we actually do it, the world's changed. 5 years into your course, things, television isn't the most prominent thing to watch anymore. It sort of goes onto Netflix on demand, it goes to digital media, social media, so you have to evolve. So what I did, I joined Premier League Productions, which is the Premier League's own production house.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And they have a program called Premier League Stories. Premier League Stories is a half an hour, 26-minute show, goes out every Wednesday to 189 countries in the world, so everyone that has Premier League rights can watch Premier League Stories. It's basically a documentary, half an hour documentary show about anything and anyone that has anything to do with the Premier League.
Like, give us an example. What's an example of that?
One example, and I'm going to tie it to Croatia because we're in Croatia.
Okay, of course, as you guys should.
Yeah. One example, so I was thinking about, how can I put Croatia on the map in the Premier League? We're not like Brazil or France or Spain where we had hundreds of players, playing in the Premier League. We weren't as represented, but we were still represented. So I wanted to see how can I tie in, how has Croatian football changed the Premier League, and how has maybe being in the Premier League changed Croatian football.
Okay.
So I dove really deep into the subject, and I told the story of Croatian players in the Premier League and how that has evolved. And this was amazing. So not only we cover players' stories, individual background stories, but we do topics. So one topic is Croatian players in the Premier League.
Like
It's a Croatian touch, I called it.
Okay.
The documentary is called The Croatian Touch. It's
Croatian touch.
Yes. So it starts with the first ever Croatian player in the Premier League. Do you want to have a guess?
Who is it?
He works a bit in television now. He was a coach as well, or is a coach. Slaven Bilic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
First Croatian.
The first Croatian in the Premier League, signed for West Ham, sort of in the late 90s. And then Davor Šuker and like all these big people. People forget all these people have actually played in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And then obviously Luka Modric was the big one. But back in the day, no one really knew how big he was going to get. And then obviously now Gvardiol, Kovacic, and people, because of everyone that's come before them, people see Croatian players in a different light. Slaven Bilic, I was speaking to him about this topic, the Croatian touch. People thought the Balkans, crazy people, sort of big-headed, you know what I mean? Just like
passionate.
Go for it, passionate. But actually, their work ethic has proven that they can play in the biggest league in the world, the Premier League. And this is why we had so many players sort of weaving in and out of the best leagues in the world. And I just wanted to talk about that and go a bit deeper into it, but half an hour isn't long enough.
Did you find anything about the mental side, the mental toughness? Because that's something that I definitely know is different from, especially America to Croatia.
Yeah.
People, like, just mentally, they see things in a different way. Was that part of it at all?
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically the Balkan mentality, but also if you pair it with work ethic that these people showed, so they weren't just crazy, they weren't just going, I want to do it my way, etc., etc. I'm stubborn, I'm from the Balkans, I'm fiery, passionate, but the work ethic is what made them kind of stand out, I would say. And this is what every one of them said. Every interviewer did. I interviewed Slaven Bilic, I interviewed Luka Modric.
You did Modric?
Yes, yeah.
Wait, how did your family react back
Oh my God.
Did they go crazy?
Yeah, they did. But I knew Luka before because I worked with him in Qatar at the 2022 World Cup.
Okay.
So I work with FIFA and sort of HBS, the host broadcast service, to do team features on Croatia during tournaments, which is amazing. You get to travel with the team, you get to know them quite well, and you're not team media, but you are the closest to team media outside of team media, right? So I got to know Luka and reached out to him saying, do you want to be part of this? And of course he said yes.
That's awesome.
Anytime he can represent his country.
Exactly. Yeah, so you have more sense of pride, especially because I know you're less than 4 million, right? Croatia.
Yeah.
But you produce super athletes,
Yeah.
like athletes and all over. But it's nice to see that connection still remains back home, and even when it means to speak to you as a journalist, to storytelling, to get that word out to the rest of the world, he was open to doing that.
But it's sort of, to take it a bit away from Croatia, it's not just, so being passionate about football, being Croatian, I can relate to other people as well. I can relate to other players, to other nations, smaller nations as well. So I did documentaries about different sort of people. Emmanuel Adebayor, sort of a hothead, you know, football, got into a lot of trouble, but looking at a story, diving deeper into what he actually had to go through with, you know, his country getting attacked. He was in a bus attack by a rebel group during the AFCON.
When was this?
That was,
when he was young.
if I can remember, 2012, if I can remember correctly. So he was traveling to an AFCON game and his bus with the national team got attacked. And a few people even got killed. You know what that does to you? And in the interview, he was remembering those scenes, and he was, you know.
So you understand the person.
You try and understand the person. Sometimes you get just one interview. Sometimes you get to spend a few days. So I spent a few days with Santi Cazorla in Spain, and he's still playing. Incredible. Shout out to Santi. He's the most wonderful man ever. And the fact that he's still playing after nearly losing his leg, because he had an Achilles injury and it got infected. He had sort of flesh-eating bacteria eating away his tendon. They had to do a skin graft, take away from his arm to put on his foot. He has his daughter's name that was on his arm, on his foot now. Crazy story. Spending days with him, actually talking to him about how he felt, how his family and friends felt, talking to his friends, talking to coaches. It's just a different storytelling, and I think what I love about this job is that people are saying sort of TV's dying out, we're moving on to short form content, people can't watch videos that are longer than whatever, attention span is getting shorter. But long form's always going to be there. Netflix are doing a really good job at trying to promote long form, and I think there's going to be short form and there's going to be long form. The difference is, and with Instagram, players are showing more sort of vulnerable private moments on Instagram, but I think what we do is different in a way that we dive deep into the topic. We take time. Instagram doesn't have time, but we take the time and we still try and catch these intimate, spontaneous moments. But you do the research, you take the time, and this is why I think it's still important for people to watch these documentaries and to watch people sort of talking about their life, etc. Because not everything you see online is a reality, and we're trying to get as close as possible to the real person behind the footballer, to the real person behind their injuries, their life stories. And yeah, continue watching Premier League stories, guys.
And what is it about your approach, do you think, that you're able to get this out of people? Because I imagine they're closed off, or they have journalists that they can't trust and they don't want to open up to. What do you think it is about your approach?
I think it's a hard one, because often when I rock up to an interview, it's the first time I meet the person.
Yeah.
So you have a little time when you're setting up. Usually you have 4 or 5 cameras and you're setting up.
What's your little tip? You have like a something they do? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
Did you do it on me before we started this?
I've done it days ago, Marco. Days ago.
Oh wow, you're playing chess, not checkers.
No, I'm saying, so when you meet someone, or when I meet someone, I'm trying to assess their mood on the day, because that's the most important thing. I might have read a documentary, so I interviewed Nicholas Bentner, another sort of very interesting character in world football. I read his biography. You watch interviews, but when you meet the person on the day, they can be completely different.
Yeah.
So what you do is assess them on the day, and then see how far you can take it. See if they're more closed off, then you try and be more closed off and more sort of.
So you mirror them.
You mirror them, yeah. Try and mirror them.
I've read that in a book somewhere. You're gonna have to write a book on this soon.
I know.
That I can read.
You try and mirror them. So with Nicholas, I sort of saw that he's quite a confident guy, you know, likes a joke and doesn't really. He says what's on his mind. Even his agent said, "Oh wow, you know, Nicholas, you shouldn't be saying that." I was like, "No, he's honest," and I think we need more people like that in world football. It's absolutely refreshing. So I tried to mirror that. So every time I would sort of think about his book, what he wrote in his book, and I was like, "But Nicholas, how about that? Why did you do that? You know, but isn't that strange?" So he can throw some sort of comments. He was commenting on my shoes. He thought my shoes were weird. And I was like, "Well, I don't think so." You know, you can try to do that, but you cannot do that with everyone. If someone's more shy, I think people who are a little bit more shy get intimidated by loud people, so you have to mimic that. You have to be more quiet, more understanding of, you know, that they're not extroverts. Excuse me, that they're introverts. So
that's so true.
I think that's quite a good way to approach people in general, not just interviews, but general
How'd you learn
social.
that? Is it just
by doing?
It's your nature, or did you study it?
I'm not sure. I think by nature I'm like an extroverted introvert. So I need some time to myself after socializing a lot. So because I do that, I think I can relate to extroverts and introverts. Maybe that's
What's
sort
your
of my
definition of an extrovert?
someone who can just talk to anyone, someone who can go up to anyone without having doubts, without thinking about what am I going to say, what is this person going to think of me. These people just go out, can talk to anyone, sort of can work a room, etc. And they charge their batteries, their sort of inner social batteries, by talking to people.
I get energy from it.
Yes, I recharge by being on my own.
Okay. And before we finish, your work now has also taken you to CBS as well.
It has,
Yeah,
yes.
I've seen you on Morning Footy
Yeah.
as a German football expert.
Yeah.
How's that been? How's the difference been also working in American TV compared to what you've done in documentaries, but also your work at Sky in Germany?
Yeah, it's very different, Marco. It's very.
How so?
We've used the word refreshing so many times, but I have to use it again. I love the word because it is really refreshing. So American TV, I think CBS especially, know that sports is entertainment. It shouldn't be taken too seriously. There are serious elements, of course. People love their clubs. People will, you know, go to war almost for their clubs and for their team, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. But at the same time, it's still entertainment. It's still entertainment. If you mess up a read on the autocue, no one's gonna die.
Yeah.
No one's gonna die. You should be having fun. Yeah, exactly. We should be having fun. Football is fun. People are trying to escape reality by watching football and watching all these sort of things. So for me, it was great when I was talking to everyone at Morning Footy, sort of introducing myself before we went live on air. I felt the energy.
Oh, nice.
I was like, okay. And as you said earlier, I try and mimic people, how they talk to me. I'll try and talk back to them. And I felt like a real buzz. And I felt like I had a completely different personality on American TV than I did sort of working for Sky Germany or things like that.
So sweet.
Yeah, but it was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and hence I think it was sort of, it was my first taste of American TV, and I was like, I want to do this. I want to be back. I want to feel energized and happy, and I want to entertain people, and now I'm here.
That's so awesome. Well, thank you for sitting with us in Sunset Sessions. Thank you for telling us about your personality. It's been fantastic, and hope to see you soon.
Thanks. Well, I hope so too.
Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Sunset Sessions, hosted by Marco Messina. We have a very special guest who sat on the couch with me, Dimitar Berbatov, two-time Premier League champion, all-time top goal scorer as a Bulgarian. Welcome to Sunset Sports Festival.
Thank you for having me.
Is this your first time at the festival?
First time. Last year I was supposed to come, didn't happen. This year I am here.
What are your thoughts? Are you impressed? There's so many people.
Well, look, on the Balkans, in my opinion, Bulgarian, Croatian, Serbian, Macedonian, we're pretty much all the same. We speak the same language, almost. I can understand it, I can speak it, I have no problem. The sea, the weather, the hotel, everything is perfect, so it's a great place.
Similar values as well, right?
In a way, yes, but that's why, because back in the day I always used to play with Croatian players also. So we are like brothers. I used to play against them with the national team, score a couple of goals as well, but nothing personal.
Who was your closest friend that was Croatian?
Well, when I was in Spurs and I was about to leave to United, Luka Modric came in. So we had a couple of training sessions, some friendly games as well. So you can see straight away a talent, you know? And after that, he achieved greatness. And back in the day in Leverkusen, I used to play with Croatian players in the team, Kovac brothers, Živkovic, you know, so I always been around Balkan players and we always stick together.
Did you have like a friendly rivalry?
Friendly rivalry, sometimes yes, especially on the pitch. Even with from the Balkans, we know each other, we are brothers, but on the pitch, there's no brothers, there's no family. You play against me, I'll try to beat you, nothing personal.
And you guys are very competitive too.
We are, but listen, because I was lucky enough to play for United, and when I stepped into that environment of winners, then I finally realized what it is to be in this type of environment. So nothing personal. We go on the training, you play against me, I will beat you. I don't care who you are, I need to beat you because I'll be the first place. So along the process, if you're in this type of environment, if you want to learn, the environment will accept you. If you don't want to learn, the environment will kick you out.
And you said you learned that at United.
Well, because I went 2008. So in that, the previous year they won the treble. So they were already winners, right? Big winners. So Ronaldo was there, Rooney, Giggsy, Scholes, all these big name players. And me coming from the Balkans, from a small country like Bulgaria, going into there, I was starting to think to myself, do I deserve to be here? Oh my God, look at all the players. Where do I sit? What do I say? How do I look? Do I look stupid? You know, all this self-belief and doubt creeps in. And you need to be strong mentally to succeed in this type of environment and to tell yourself, like I did, wait a minute, you know, I have conversation with myself, wait a minute, I work my ass off to come here, so I deserve to be here. And I need to stay strong and to prove myself, of course, on the pitch and to show to the boys that yes, I'm the new guy, but I want to be here, guys. I want to learn from you. Because when you go into an environment like this, you're going to be provoked. They're going to push you, they're going to shove you, they're going to scream at you, they're going to curse at you on the pitch. Then is the moment for you to give something back, stay strong, to show, yeah, all right, don't worry, but I'll do this. You do job, I'll do my job, you know. Be like the prison. You go to prison, you want to prove yourself, you go and beat up the strongest guy to show everybody I'm here. All right, don't mess with me. I'll do my best for everybody, but don't mess with me.
That's a good example. I mean, I've never been to prison, but I'd imagine that's what it's like.
I always say to the young players back home, this is what winners do. Even back then when I was watching, because I watched different sports, Michael Jordan, you know, Muhammad Ali, all these great sportsmen.
Michael Jordan.
And Michael Jordan was always testing his teammates, always provoking them in a way to see what they're made of, so he knows he can trust them, so they can play with you. So the same is with United. The biggest players there were always going to test you to see what you're made of. And if you hold your own, they're going to give you respect and vice versa.
Did you watch The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary?
If somebody didn't watch that thing, go and watch it. That is something beautiful.
Yes.
Of course, some people can find it a bit controversial, but for me, it shows you greatness, because Michael Jordan for me was great, and how he done things his way.
It's one of my favorite things to watch, and sometimes I need to watch it again as a reminder.
Yeah.
Even the way that he would find, there was one time he's at a restaurant, and the guy doesn't shake his hand, and he made it up in his head. It doesn't even exist.
All right.
Did you use
I took it personal. I took it personal.
He even got emotional.
I love that.
Crying.
Yeah. Maybe with me was not to that extent, but the truly great athletes, Jordan, like Ali, as I said, and other truly great, they probably do stuff like this. Even if they drive a car, if someone passes them on, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute, push the pedal, let's do it. I want to be first. I caught myself from time to time doing the same thing, even now, back in the day as well. But this type of greatness that Jordan has, you know, this was different level.
Yes.
This was something that he has in him probably nobody taught him. It was just inside him to prove to everybody, I am the man, I'm the man. Sometimes I think it shows up differently with different people. For example, Messi, I don't think Messi probably is doing the same thing. But he is also very competitive, and he wants to show, like he's one of the best with Ronaldo, different leagues. But I think everybody, depending on their personality, will use different approach to go to that greatness level.
We saw it a little bit too in the World Cup, and I kind of love to see that side of Messi. Remember with the Netherlands players, he's like, "Kimira, Bobo, Kimira," and it was like nice to see that from him.
But
too.
this is the moment probably where he was really pushed to that extent, almost to show his other side. You know, where hey, you can kick me around, I get up, I continue to play, I say nothing. But there's a point where you've provoked me enough, I'll show my dirty side as well.
Who was the most similar player in the locker room to maybe this Michael Jordan type competitiveness?
Well, back in the day with United, I think you have Wayne Rooney as well, because he was very competitive, but not selfish in any way. He's gonna try to make you look good. You know, always. He was gonna sacrifice for you. When he needed to be nasty, on the pitch, I'm telling you, chasing people, kicking people, I was swearing at people, I don't care who you are, just for the name of winning, for the team, not purely because of him, for the team. Post goals sometimes also can be really, really nasty on the pitch. One of the best midfield player ever. He was very quiet, very into his own world, you know, a bubble. But on the pitch, trust me, if you want to do something to you, you're gonna do it.
They always say, we hear stories from the outside of players like Cristiano Ronaldo, for example, that they try to show up even to the gym before you, just to put a psychological edge to say, oh, I'm here to really
I
work.
was lucky and privileged, obviously, to play with so many good players. With Ronaldo, we shared dressing room for 1 year when I went there. And the stories are true, because everybody can testify that you have players who are just purely motivated, knowing their talent, and obviously they probably have a good team around them, a good environment, people who want to make you better than you already are. And Ronaldo was in the same, in the great place, in the great time, with the great people around him, in the dressing room, outside the dressing room, his own motivation to show everybody I can be one of the greatest. And that requires coming first into the training, prepare for training, train like you're supposed to train, like you play official game. After the training, is it a stretch, is it an extra finishing, is it a sauna, is it a pool, is it a gym? You do it. You know, and that's how in the end he became one of the GOATs, right?
Early on, did you guys used to like bully him a little bit and mess with him in the locker room?
Before I came there was stories going around that obviously when you're a young boy, young football players, you want to show how good you are, right? You get the ball and you want to go past everybody. And obviously Rio, Vida, Scosi, Roy Keane when he was there as well. When I spoke with them, was telling story that at first, like I just told you in our conversation, you come into our environment. You have a talent, no worries. But if you try to make fool of us, we're gonna kick the shit out of you. Sorry. And they probably teach him that way of, you have talent, but you need to put your talent to work for the team. All right, you need to know when to pass the ball, when to dribble with the ball, when to be the guy who is gonna get us out of trouble, because we're gonna sacrifice for you. We're gonna do everything that possibly can for you. We'll give you the ball, and then you do your job. But you need to help us as well sometimes. We're gonna teach you when to pass, when to shoot, when to dribble. And this is how it is in the big teams. They teach you differently. Sometimes with a kick, with a push, with a scream, sometimes a bit more polite, depending who you are and how people treat you. But in the case of Ronaldo, this is what I heard.
But it's in a good way, right? It's in a way to help you improve, not
impersonal.
Not in a bad way.
It's not impersonal. It's never personal. If you take it personal, then it's not going to be good for you. Of course, sometimes there are situations where back in the day there were fights in the dressing room, in the pitch, for small things like we play a small-sided game.
Tell us a story. Give us one.
Small-sided games, and it's very competitive because everybody wants to win. And the assistant coach is the referee. And there is a tackle or whatever. And
between who?
I think there was a Patrice Evra, and I don't remember who was the other one. But Patrice is a defender. I think someone a tackle or whatever, and you go into the tackle. You get the ball, or you don't get the ball, depending who you ask. And someone from the opposite team say, "Oh, coach, it's a foul." But Patrice Evra or someone else say, "Hey, no, it's not a foul." So the assistant coach is sitting. He's the referee. He's wondering what to do. Is it a foul? Is it not a foul? And everybody start arguing and fighting, and the assistant coach like, I don't want to be a referee. He go into the dressing room, and now we are left onto the pitch by ourselves, and we're like, don't mind him. Go inside, then no problem. And we fight a bit, but then it's like, let's continue, guys. Let's play for the love of the game. We play, and again, when you finish, what happened on the pitch stays on the pitch. It's not impersonal, my friends. It's not impersonal. I just want to win. That's it. Competitive side. When you go into a dressing room, all done. You cannot love everybody in a team. You like someone, you're very good friends with the other person, someone you don't like, but he is in your team, he is in your dressing room. but you play for the same team. On the pitch, if he is in the better position, you give him the ball. You give him the ball because he's going to do something that is going to help everybody, and you don't take it personal. That's how I saw it back in the day, and in my mind, that's how it should be.
100%. Do you think that that's sometimes lost right now? Especially, you look at the situation Manchester United is in, it feels like from the outside, of course, that maybe that competitiveness, that spirit is not, the culture maybe is different.
In a way, yes, because life is different. Football is a bit different as well. Players also are a bit different. Sometimes, if we're talking about United, maybe that, I don't know if people can understand me correctly, that nastiness on the pitch, to have 3 or 4 players who are the dirty players, who are the players who will be like, don't worry, I'll deal with him. I'll get the ball, I'll scare him, and I'll give the ball to you, you shine. Sometimes you need players like this. For example, Darren Fletcher in our team. Darren Fletcher was one of the most important players in the team, also John O'Shea, because these are the, how do you say in English, the players who do the dirty works, and the spotlight is never on them.
Yes.
But they will sacrifice for you, and they know their position into the team. They are happy to sacrifice for the team and for you, and they feel good because of this. And then you need to give them the applause and the credit, and everybody did that in the dressing room, because we all knew without players like this, it's going to be more difficult for us to do our job. And in today, for example, in Manchester United, maybe that type of work like Casemiro was doing in Real Madrid. They need to find more players like this who are going to be there and strike fear into the opposition. Because when you go into play United back in the day, into the tunnel, when I see the other team and we are lined up to go and to play, I already know they lost the game. I already know they lost the game.
Really?
Because that fear factor and that here thinking, I was always the last to stay, and I see in front of me Ronaldo, Rooney, Giggs, Scholes, Van der Sar, and then I'm checking the other team, and I'm like, I know, boys, I know. It's a big team, but they all earn their greatness. It's not given to them; they earn it. And now you need to face them, us, and it's going to be difficult. And sometimes they lost the game even before we go into the pitch. Honestly, because
that's such a beautiful culture that you sent too, because obviously the really talented players, they're the ones that the kids want to have the jersey, the names on the back. But for you guys to be self-aware within the squad and say we need to give props to the ones that win the ball back, that allow us to do that greatness.
Of course, the really true players, the really great players, even if they don't say it enough, after the game, during the game, into the training session, they're always going to be, you are the guy. You fight for the ball and you give it to me, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Because sometimes these type of players, they don't get the recognition. So that's why, because every time when I score a goal, the first guy I went to say thank you was the guy who passed me the ball. Yes. I was not celebrating because, yeah, look at me, I scored a goal. I always go and say thank you because you made me look good, and it go back the chain. Because you passed me the ball, I score. But before you, there was another guy who took the ball and gave it to you. So it's always a chain, and you need to admit and to say thank you to the people connected with the chain, basically the whole team, and this way you have respect of everybody. Because it's not about one player, it's about the whole team. One player can get you out of trouble if he is the most talented, but he also needs the team around him most of the time.
It's a beautiful way to describe a team. One other thing that I love about your Instagram is you love posting these videos with the ball and just a wall. No shoes on, no equipment. I was telling you last night, sometimes even in America, we're so focused on having the nice shoes, the grass is cut perfect, but then you promote saying you don't need much to really build skill.
Well, you don't actually, because back in the day when I growing up was different, obviously. But now, when you look around, there's also ways you can train yourself if you are up into that way of living that you want to train. You don't have friends around you, and now you are stuck thinking, what do I do now? Well, the easiest way to train your skills, you find a ball, you find a wall. Now while we're talking, I'm looking at the wall over there.
There's one right there too.
And in my mind, it's like, I can train to that wall because you see how the O is not even, right?
Yeah.
It's going up and down.
It's a little
So
curve.
this is going to be more difficult because the ball is going to jump in a different direction. So that wall is even better, but it's more challenging because when you kick the ball against this wall, the ball is not going to come back to you straight line. It's going to shuffle a little bit. And then you are challenged, coordination, anticipation, balance, reaction, everything that you have in the game. So this is one of the most, not easiest, oldest, simplest exercise that is going to help you, guarantee 100%, judging by myself, to develop your touch of the ball, your first touch, your coordination, your speed, because you need to move depending how you kick the ball. And barefoot is also important because you're connected with the ground. You're grounding in a way. And you train your muscle in the foot here also because sometimes in today's shoes they make it a bit more soft, which make the muscle more lazy. But when you're barefoot, you train your feet, everything that is up the chain as well.
Maybe you give us a lesson afterwards, outside. Maybe you could improve me.
Well, I need to be in the mood for all this, you know? I need to know that I am in the zone, thinking now my mood is talking to you.
After you eat.
Maybe yes, maybe not. I cannot promise you
No
this.
promises, okay.
But if I need to give an advice to young players who always ask me, how can I improve my touch? If you're a professional youth player, you have your training session, obviously, right? But when you have time, when you have a day off, a garden, or whatever, find a ball. Even if you don't have a wall, find a ball. But if you have a wall, have a ball as well, because without a ball, it's not going to happen. So find a ball. The only thing I was doing back in the day was kicking the ball high in the air and control it. Kick high, stop. Kick high, stop. Sounds stupid, probably. Sounds silly. But that exercise shaped how I stopped the ball.
Wow.
And then, after that, the next phase was finding the wall. But back in the day, there was walls, but I was practicing on my garage door, which I imagine it was a big goal. I was playing a big game, and I was imagining scoring big goals, lifting trophies. That's how it was back in the day.
Was your family okay with you hitting the garage door?
Ah, come on.
They didn't care.
They didn't care because it was a garage door, solid garage door.
So no window around it.
No windows. But even if I cannot practice outside, I was practicing in my home. I just found a small space and just kick the ball. Even if it's 1 meter long, you still train the habit of passing it right, left,
For
right.
how long would you do that? Like hours?
Even more. Because remember, back in the day, there was no telephones, there are no social medias, there was nothing. So sometimes out of boredom, you are forced to do stuff. And if you do the stuff that you love, even better.
I spoke to Antonio Cassano, you know Cassano, right? And he told me that he's actually mad that his kids now, they train on perfect pitches.
Yeah.
And he said he grew up on the street. And he was telling me even sometimes the cobblestone, he loved it because the ball would bounce in a slightly different way and it would improve his touch.
The same what I told you about the wall. If the wall is uneven, it's made of stones, and every stone is a different shape. When you hit the ball against the ball is going to jump a different direction. And then you need to react. Be quick, anticipate. The same when the pitch is bad. Is it the grass, is it the concrete, it doesn't matter. If it's bad, the ball is not going to travel perfectly. It's going to jump, it's going to bounce. Now you need to know how to stop it, you know? And that's how you train your instinct and everything.
So would you recommend for a kid out there to do it on a surface like that first or a flat one?
Constantly try to, what is the word? To
Mix it?
To mix it, yeah, to mix it. One day you train on a perfect pitch. The next day challenge yourself. Go where the pitch is not that good. Test yourself with the wall, with the ball. Always test yourself, because yes, in today's world, if you play in a big team, probably the chances of playing on a big pitch, on a good pitch, are greater. But if you play in a small team and you need to travel to a different country where the conditions are not the best, right? and the pitch is maybe a bad condition, then you need to be ready. So basically you need to be ready for the good pitch and for the bad pitch. And you need to challenge yourself and to train for conditions like this.
So the false nine is something that we hear a lot these days. And I saw a story, you say that you invented the false nine. Can you explain that?
Well, if you watch my clips on YouTube, go find my clips, and you will see how I used to play the game of football. You will see that my game obviously was based around scoring goals because I was a striker. And this was what was required of me, to score goals. But in my mind, I was thinking, it's not only about the goals. I want to be in touch with the ball. I want to dance with the ball. I want to pass the ball in the best way possible. I want to make my teammates also look good. Sometimes I'll be tired. I want to drop back, get the ball, because when I have the ball, I'm resting with the ball. I'm not fighting with the ball, because I know how to touch. Some players, they don't know how to touch the ball, and they get tired because they are fighting with the ball. For me, it was opposite. When I had the ball, I rest because I know how to touch, how to control. So that's why I was dropping deep into the midfield, and I was demanding the ball. Give me the ball. And they were giving me the ball because they knew that I have a good touch, and I can keep the ball. And the moment when I keep the ball, even before the ball comes to me, I already was watching who is moving, like a chess game. Who is moving where? And I knew if I needed to make one touch pass or stop and then pass the ball. And dropping deep, I was always playing like a 9.5 or sometime number 10 because I enjoy that. And if you ask me what did I enjoy more, scoring a goal or making an assist, I'll probably tell you making a good assist.
Really?
Yeah. Because I will do the dirty work in a way, although the assist is not the dirty work, and then I'll make you look good. And you score, you shine, and then you come and say, thanks, Berba. And I'll say, no worry, my friend.
Who do you think does it the best right now? Who's like top 3 center forwards that you see doing this consistently?
Well, center forward, in a way of center forward, and score, because there is difference between a goal scorer who scores goals and a really good football player. You can score a lot of goals, but maybe you're not a good football player. You can be a really good football player, but you cannot score enough goals.
Can you give me an example?
There's a difference. Goal scorers who really score goals, but also a good football player, is Harry Kane.
Yes.
Because Harry Kane reminds me of myself. Even when he was in Spurs, dropping back, dropping deep, getting the ball, the passes, the reading of the game, knowing where his teammates is going to move, how he needs to pass the ball, the speed of the ball. And then when he goes up to the pitch, scoring goals, just for fun. He's a machine. Lewandowski, the same way. Knowing how to play with teammates, dropping deep, scoring goal. Maybe he's more center forward than Harry Kane, but the same qualities, pretty much the same qualities. And I love watching these players. I'm not even mentioning Messi and Ronaldo because everybody knows about them, right? The other one, Kevin De Bruyne, in his prime. I mean, I don't think he needed any coaching because he was a chess master. He knows how you move, how to pass the ball. He knew, because I watched the games, his teammates on which foot he needs to pass the ball to, because that foot was his strongest of his teammates. Because this is also very important. If you're right-footed, pass the ball to his right foot because the chances of mistakes are not that great. If your foot is weaker, then the chance of mistake is bigger. Now, if you play with both of your feet perfectly, then it's the best case scenario. But this type of things you need to know, you need to smell them. You need to know how your teammate plays. Which way he turns. Does he prefer to turn right or he turns left? This is where, and this is how you pass him the ball, with that speed. If he's more technically gifted, give him a strong pass and don't worry about it. If he's not that gifted, a bit slower pass to make life easy for him. So this type of players like Xavi, Iniesta, I love watching them, man. I love watching them when I played twice against them. My neck was like this. I have cramps in my neck after the game.
The ball was hidden.
Because they didn't sprint, but they just play around you. Because the game of football, people forget, is a simple game for smart people. Simple game for smart people. And if you know how to utilize your strong quality and you think, you're always going to outsmart the opposition. Always. Unless the opposition is smarter than you.
Well said, well said. to end on that note, Manchester United obviously need a number 9, right? Somebody. There's so many names out there, and even I sometimes get confused on which the profile could be. There's Gyökeres, there's Isak, there's an Osimhen. Who do you think fits that profile where they actually can do all of those things, and they're not just the goal scorer, but they can help the team play good football?
Well, the first name, because I watch him so many times, probably is the same name I just told you, is a Harry Kane. Harry Kane type of player. But if you ask me general, the striker, the passer, I can go back in time, to Di Stefanos, players that maybe the new generation don't know enough. This type of players. Football was different back then, but still, what a players. But one guy who always going to be mentioned, no matter what, is R9. This is probably the goats of goats. He was loved unconditionally probably from everybody. I had the chance to play against him and see greatness firsthand. And I think all strikers, midfield or whatever will agree that that guy was ahead of his time, and he was from another planet in a way, because the way he used to play football, how he enjoyed it with a smile, even the injuries he had, still overcame them, and everything that he done, and the way he was dancing with the ball. Oh man, I still watch clips for him to this day.
Really?
Yeah, because that was the guy who was just dancing with the ball. This is poetry in motion. He was unbelievable, unbelievable.
So you said goat of all goats. So even better, Messi and Ronaldo, you think?
The thing with Messi and Ronaldo was, and that is the most important part for every football player and every team, consistency. To do something consistently for 15 years like Messi and Ronaldo's and be on the higher level, that requires obviously ambition, talent, ambition, stubbornness, and consistency to be all the time there, outside, training, producing, proving people wrong when they doubt you, and that consistency is one of the most important factor if you want to be great. And these two players, Messi and Ronaldo, they had that consistency for so long, and that's why one of the things that made them great. With R9, unfortunately for him, his career was had some bad injuries, which prevented him probably to reach even more greatness. But I guarantee you, because I watch my ex-colleagues, I watch this type of stuff on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, when they ask, who is the guy? Everybody most of the time say R9. Honestly, this guy was something else. And I put him on the same level with Messi, Ronaldo, if not sometimes a bit higher, because he played in my position. I can also say Van Basten, but that's different type of player. Again, career cut short because of a big injury, And I remember watching him farewell on the stadium, running around, making a lap of honor, waving, everybody crying with him. I watching him, and I'm crying on the TV as well. I was so sad, man, because he was another one.
Different generation.
Different generation, but 3 golden balls, and he stopped playing at 28.
Wow.
28, he stopped playing football.
I didn't realize.
And by that age, he already had 3 golden balls, European Championship, Serie A with Milan, everything. And I read his biography as well. But this is a different story.
One of your idols. Dimitar, I really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoy Croatia, and I hope you enjoy the Sunset Sports Festival.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
You know what? Welcome back to Sunset Sessions, hosted by Marco Messina. And we've got the big dog in the house, Peter Schmeichel.
Marco, finally we do some work together,
It feels like they separated us.
Yeah.
It's good to see you again.
And you.
Always back in Zadar, though.
Always back in Zara, yeah. Yeah, in Italy. We also met in Italy.
Did we go to Italy? Yeah, we went to Copenhagen.
Yeah. And Copenhagen.
Copenhagen,
Yeah.
That's right.
So, but finally we do some
This
proper
is the
work
home base.
together. Yeah.
And you were at the first edition of the Sunset Sports Festival,
Yeah.
right? And you've seen it progress. What do you think about year 4?
It's grown. It's grown a lot. It's I think it's changed in the way that it's more towards the public. There is it's more open. There are more interests. Whereas the first one was very direct. It was, you know, you had a panel of whatever, and that was it. And then you either stayed or you walked away. But here you got different stations. You got, you know, a lot of different things to do other than just sat and listen to the panels. But I also think the quality of the panels are much higher. We've got people from everywhere in the world. I mean, I had the unbelievable pleasure to moderate a session with Ana Bojic, who.
How was that?
Who from 2010 and 2001, 2010 was voted the best goal-scoring footballer in the world. He scored the most goals in that period, and no disrespect to him, I've never heard of him. And then I was lucky enough to have 20 minutes before the session, and I was blown away by his story. And that's what this event should be able to provide, stories that blows you away. And when you look at the quality of the panels, there's a couple of things going on in this afternoon where you think, how is this even possible? So it's grown, and the quality is so much higher.
It blows me away that Peter Schmeichel, one of the best goalkeepers of all time, you get still excited by all these things. And you've created this career, and I just heard you on your panel, which was incredible to hear you talk. And you get so excited by these things, and you really made something different, and you learned a new skill. So you enjoy doing it.
I do enjoy it. I think what really is important for me, I mean, I'm in the panels, but I'm also here listening. While you sit there, you get inspired by people who do different jobs within the sporting world. I mean, the sporting world is not the sporting world; it's a world, you know. And you have so much input. And if you come away here with one or two ideas that you can use in your work, it's worth the trip. Now, you flip that, I'm on the panel. So I also feel it's my job, it's my obligation to actually do the same thing. Can I give somebody just a little bit of inspiration about something? Well, if that happens, I'm very, very proud.
You were, even as somebody that has gotten to know you a little bit, the stories that you've told, the way that you interpret the game, your mindset too, when you're pitch side and you're able to get players to communicate in a way that you didn't experience before. Did you ever have a time when you were a player where you didn't like to interact with the media, and now do you see it from the reverse angle?
I have to be honest and say I absolutely hated being connected with people doing the job I'm doing today.
Really?
And because I felt like that, I'm trying to do it in a way where players are comfortable talking to me. So I really, I mean, at the very, very, very top of everything I do when it comes to players, talking to players, is I show them respect. I show them respect regardless of what they've done in the game, regardless of what the result was, where the team was, and all that. Show them respect. Don't insult them. Don't stir the pot just to get a headline or. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in getting for them to bring themselves into them, and they're comfortable, and that they tell me something that is important for them, not what's important for me. I never in my life, even as a footballer, I never chased the headline. I don't think that is important. I'm not chasing something that will go viral. Because at the end of the day, things that are going viral often has an edge to it that I'm not comfortable with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I really do try to show people respect, and it's difficult. I mean, I'm not a trained journalist, so at times it's difficult. You know, where is the balance? Where's the boundary? You know, where am I justifying me being there with the microphone in my hand, and you know, so the balance is difficult to find, but so far it's been okay.
Did you learn that from your experience of dealing with journalists who maybe didn't always have that same integrity that you had when you were a player, and then you came to appreciate it from the opposite side?
So of course there's a lot of experience into this that I am bringing from my playing days. So a lot of that, But also when I retired, I did a lot of media training, and I was lucky enough to be employed by the BBC, which is the BBC. You do think everybody in the BBC, they do it like this. That's it. You don't go outside, but what you really do learn there is discipline.
Okay.
It's discipline within the art of broadcasting, if you like. So at the time when I connected with the BBC, they didn't have so many TV rights on football, but they had a lot of radio rights. So already my first year working for the BBC, my first year in retirement, I was co-commentating on radio. Now, the viewers, there's no viewers, the listeners, they don't see what I see. And it's so difficult. It's my second language as well, and you're sad. But back then, they were 2 commentators doing 22 and a half minutes on the dot each.
Really?
So the commentator would go ba 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 and explain what was happening, and you then have the maximum of 20-second slots where you come in, and in the beginning you're trying to build your point up, and then you learn very quickly you have to put your point out there first, and then you can sort of add little bits to it, because something happens on the pitch and they don't care. They just interrupt and carry on like you've said nothing, you know. And also, when you have a conversation like we have now, if I say something, very often you feel you have to react to that. And when you do radio, they don't react to what you say. It just stands, it stops there, poof, and they carry on. And that discipline was really difficult to learn, but I'm so happy that I had that experience, because you bring it into everything else that you do. So the next bit I did was I was hosting the Champions League in Denmark for 8 years. So you get to know in training as well how to ask questions, who to ask, you know, how all of that, of course, gives you so much experience. So I stopped doing that. I went back to punditry, which I enjoy most.
Okay.
Then you understand what his job is, you know. So you kind of, and then I now with CBS, I'm a pitch-side reporter, if you like, or on-site reporter. I now have all that experience, and I try to put that into that. So my playing experience, how I felt myself, all the lessons I've learned along the way, you know, make your point quick, all of these things, and then with the, you know, respect the people that you talk to, and then hopefully that's good for the viewers. And well, I've done it now for 5 years. I've been on the road for 5 years, and you see the progress by, first of all, where you are in the queue. So we're never host broadcaster, because we are American, of course. We are very, very close to the host broadcaster. They have preference because they get whoever they want in first, and very often we're second. Okay. And I think that is the power of the program, how it's constructed, how it is on social media. But I think us people who are there every time, the respect we show to everyone plays a part as well.
Absolutely. One of the interesting things that I've learned working with former players, we have Mike Grella, who's on set with us on our Serie A coverage. He played at Leeds, he played at New York Red Bulls. He said doing this job is the closest he's come to feeling like he's a player again. He said just like the preparation, the excitement you get right before covering a live game. You're smiling when I say that. You feel the same thing?
Yeah, I do. And this is the interesting part, because for 20 years I've done studio work. You know, I sat at the desk or stood at a table, and you go through very often just the same thing, really. You know, our program is of course different. There's a bit of banter, and then you get to a serious part where it's analyzing the game, building up an expectation to the game, you know, getting the viewers into certain things that they should kind of pay attention to in the game. All of that, you've done that, done. And all of a sudden you're there. You can smell the grass. You actually see the players, you strike up relationship with the players from, you know, the number of times you see them, and all of a sudden you're kind of part of the game. It's never the same as playing, cannot be, but it's so nice to be out there. Game watched on location is a very different game to watch on TV. You don't see the same things. You don't have the same understanding of how good the team is, or where their issues are. So just to bring an example into that is PSG, which is is one of the teams that I have followed the most. It stems back to COVID because Paris was one of the places that you could actually travel to. So I've been at PSG games where, you know, they had all the Galacticos, the stars. No, there's no crowd, so you've actually heard the atmosphere between the players on the pitch. You've seen how it was 7 players working hard and 3 players not working at all, and you kind of know straight away by being there that this team can never win the Champions League. The competition is simply too strong. You need more work. You need more from everyone. Whereas if you watch that through a TV screen, when you see the 3 players not working, you see them with the ball and it looks good. And you think, wow, these guys are good.
But the other end.
Exactly. But when you're on location, you kind of get a different feel, And I've been consistent in reporting on that. I don't think PSG can win. I think they need to change. And they did it this year. So.
And specifically, you were saying, watching Dembélé, the way that he would pressure on Sommer, and you saw that the turning point was the game against Man City, right? That you were at.
The turning point for PSG was the decision made by Mbappé to leave. And I mean, he's one of the greatest players in the world, most interesting players to watch. But he's also so many years at PSG, and he's the absolute star. When the president of the country is begging a player to stay at a club.
Oh,
hey!
Hello! What's up? You want to take my spot?
Hey!
You got space for me here?
Yeah.
What's up, Anita? I thought you were leaving. You said you had to take a flight and go.
I always have time.
No, this is right in the spirit of what we do at CBS.
That's true.
You know, unpredictability.
You never know what's going to happen.
If you've got something to say, you just barge in and you take. I did this in the final because I was chasing. I had that thing, the super flash, where you have the armband and you have the card and you're on the pitch. And I was looking for Vitinha. I couldn't find him because I wanted to talk to him about something that he told me after that. No, actually, it was after the Man City game, where off camera he told me we can win this. And it came off, it's somewhere in an interview he said, we're a better team now. And I asked him about that on camera, and it was a little bit, And then off camera I said, you know, and he goes,
and he chased him down.
I think, yeah, because I wanted to ask him exactly that. And I saw he was at the desk, so I'm not sprinting. I wasn't sprinting, but I hurried.
You hurried.
Over there, and I didn't push Kate out of the way. I just barged in, and I said, I'm sorry. I've got to ask him this. And he's like.
But the rest of them all left then, right? Jamie and
true.
Micah, they made it worse.
But it's in the spirit of what we do. You know, the unpredictability and the staying in the moment, making it live, bringing the viewers as close as you can to the live event. So it's brilliant you are here now. I love the fact.
I just wanted to come and say hi because, you know, Peter and Anita on the road.
I know, it's always you two. I'm getting jealous every time I see you guys together. And people want to know at home too, for both of you, since you're always on with the Champions League crew. Are Jamie and Mike, are they always messing around off camera as they are on camera? Is it always fun and
a little bit? You think it's an act. Some of it is. But it's also personalities, you know, they bring their personalities in. See, I've known Micah since he was a kid, because he was in the academy with my son. So I've known him. So what you see is it's a developed personality, but it's him.
Okay.
It's very, very honest to him. I remember saying to him, because what we do, we hear the program, we hear the whole way through, we have that in our ears, and you know, we watch most of it as well, but we also do, you know, different things, trying to get people to, you know, asking about this, and, you know, a lot of things. So whenever Micah was, you know, he's kind of, and he's very vocal, and it works on TV, right? But when he was analyzing in the beginning, he went, and then he goes down to, and because of the change of tone and pace, when you're listening to it, he loses credibility. And I said this to him, I said, Micah, when I'm listening to it, I know you know your stuff, and what you're saying is very good, but because the difference of when you are Micah to when you analyze, because of the difference in tone, you know, you kind of lose credibility. You have to find a medium. And he said to me the other day, I don't know if you heard that when he was in was it Paris? No. When he was next to me, he said, "I never forget what you said."
Really?
And I said, "But I'm really, really happy that you listened to that because I hear the difference now. You know, your credibility is absolutely there. We like the way you are. You're loud. You're brash. You're all of that. But when you talk about football, I believe you. I really do believe you, and that's important because you can't be a pundit without that kind of credibility. You can't. You can't just be a loud guy and a funny guy. You've got to have that, and that's why it works because they all have that credibility. That's when I say it's not a little bit of it is an act, but they bring the personalities into it.
So I do have to get a flight, but before we go, if we have to go to
Are we going?
You're doing the interviews for me next season, Tottenham in the Champions League. I'm going to leave the mic to you. It's going to be your show. I'll just be there next to you. What were you thinking about that?
I think you got to do them. If Peter says you got to do them, then you got to do them.
I would, I'm joking.
The Arsenal fan.
Yeah. I love that interview. I love the fact. I love that. Have you watched the interview
Yeah,
that she did with?
So viral.
You asked the right questions. I have no idea why he came out with the answers that he did, but your reaction, not what you said, but your reaction to it was so good, and it was you never disrespected him. You just went.
I was shocked.
What do you think in
Yeah,
the moment
exactly.
when he was saying
I
it?
was shocked. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was perplexed because obviously when we're watching a game, we calm down and so we might miss a few seconds.
Yeah.
But we also have a screen, and I remember seeing the end of the match, him shaking hands with Luis Enrique. I didn't see much of an exchange. So I'm thinking, who's told him that Arsenal played better? What did I miss? So that's literally what my mindset was. What did I miss?
Did
Now,
you
if
doubt
you-
yourself
if
to
you-
ask a question again? Like to?
No.
Did you at all?
If you'd added a question to that, or you gone into a question that you would have lost it. That would have he would have come up with. It would have been ugly in a way, and something that it wouldn't suit you, and it definitely wouldn't have suited him, and it would just have been. But that look was everything. It was brilliant. It was really good TV.
Wow.
Because you really seriously, it was such an honest reaction, you know, and it was. I mean, Christ.
What'd you think when?
Yeah,
What'd you
well.
think when you saw it going viral?
To be honest, because a lot of people didn't think I was an Arsenal fan. Like a lot of the Arsenal fan base weren't happy with me.
Really?
Yeah, I got a lot of.
Why? Because you went back too strong? Is that what they're
They
saying?
were just like, if you're an Arsenal fan, why would you put your manager in that position? And it's like, obviously, you have to distance yourself
Of
from
course.
it and be objective. So, and Mikel, I'm pretty sure knows I'm an Arsenal fan as well. So,
But I think if I could give you one bit of advice
Oh.
for work, going forward in your work, don't read them comments. Don't ever read anything ever.
Sometimes it's hard
Because-
to not see it though.
Well, I never do it. I never do. The thing about all the comments is that some people are very nice and they will praise you for what you do, but a lot of people will just say, "Well, that was brilliant." Just say that to themselves, and they will move on, right? But when people are angry with you, they will put in. So a lot of what you see is negative.
Yeah.
And you don't need to see it, because even though it can feel overwhelming. Oh, my 200 people have written this. It might be the only 200 people in the world.
Yeah.
You know.
And 1,000 people
I,
loved it.
I say this I've said this consistently to my son. Don't read what people write about your performances.
I'm really sorry, I have to run to catch my flight.
Okay, go.
I wanted to say hi.
And nice that you
Oh,
dropped
so
it.
good.
Have a safe flight. Be good.
Bye.
Well,
Make sure she does the questions to Tottenham next year. All right?
That's good.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, she is.
Fantastic.
So talented.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember seeing it. I didn't see it live, but then I saw it on Twitter, and I was like, Anita, I'm so proud of you for being able to. And it's not easy. It's not easy.
No,
to
it's a really
push back.
difficult situation.
And you've been in those situations too.
And think about this as well. So we only have this amount of time post-match, right? So Arsenal's just been knocked out. Yes, it's really important that you get Arteta. This is a 2.5-minute interview, by the way. It's a long interview to fit in a program from a loser's manager, right? You really have to love Arsenal to think that the way it panned out was brilliant. Our focus was, of course, on PSG. So, and it says in Super Flash, and I'm on the pitch with a camera there. So we got Hakimi live straight in. We got Donnarumma, actually not in interviews, but Donnarumma came over, a big hug. All of that, which again is bringing the viewers very close. We've got the PA of Nasser, the owner of PST, coming over to me. He said, "Do you want him on?" Yeah, I said, "Of course." So he's on. So that's where the program's focus is, on celebrating the winner.
Love that.
Now, this interview would be like a real sort of downer, but because of that one moment, it's absolutely perfect. And it's, you know, when you talk about balance, that was balance, and it was beautiful. That look, and I urge everybody to go and find that. That look is like better than the top 100 questions, that best top 100 questions ever asked.
100%.
That look just said everything.
And you've been, unfortunately, with Manchester United, you've been in that situation a lot too, where you have to have the tough conversation. And you, icon of Man United, is it sometimes tough for you too? Because
Very tough.
Criticizing.
So I did the Europa League final in Bilbao, and I was interviewing Ruben Amorim before the game, and what do you ask the guy before the game, you know? So I was trying to sort of bring myself into it, and you know, bring a bit of Man United, and also a little bit of assurances, because what's on the line here is massive, really massive. But it's a final, and we, you know, with football experience, you know how a final can go. You might not win this game, you know, and then, because what he did was he said in his press conference the day before, Champions League will change the summer. To get to Champions League, to win the final, will change the summer, but it won't solve the problems. So that's a big one, right? So what he's saying there, we have massive problems. Massive problems. That statement carries that. So I asked him, I said, you know, the Champions League, you say will change the summer, but it won't solve the problems. Now, we know it's a final. It could go either way. What if it doesn't go our way? Will you still be the manager next year?
That's a tough question.
I think that was a really good question, because I was asking as a fan.
Yeah.
I'm asking. I honestly could not, as a fan, face having to bring another manager in. And I kind of like Ruben. It's been tough for him, you know, and I think he's dealt with it really good. It reminds me a little bit of when Sir Alex Ferguson came to the club, the same kind of pressure that he was under. That lasted for nearly 4 years, by the way. How he was dealing with the media, and how he's working behind the scene and just getting things better and better. You don't move a massive club like that in one turn. It takes forever. It takes a long time. There's so many adjustments you need to do, and it all has to click. So we from the outside don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. And you don't come out and say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing, you know. So you need to give it time. So that's why that question became really important to me. So that was fine before the game. After the game, it's the only interview I did. What do you ask him? I mean, what do you ask him? He had probably just watched his team in the worst performance of the year. I mean, it felt like the players saw that game as irrelevant. You know, you say it's fine to lose a game, it's fine to lose a final if you've left everything on the pitch. They left nothing on the pitch. What do you ask the manager? Are you disappointed? That was tough. And again, I can't remember being so down after, I mean, mind you, we lost 19 games in the Premier League. I cannot remember being more down than that. So I'm a professional broadcaster. I'm a on-site reporter. My job is to interview whoever I have to interview. I cannot let my own feelings getting into it. And it's difficult. It's next to impossible. I don't think that interview that I did with him will go over in history as a good one. I don't think so, but
it had to be done.
It had to be done.
So you think you see similarities between him and Sir Alex? Or just situation-wise?
Yeah, I think the situations are similar in terms of where they pick up the club and
give time.
And the job that needs to be done. Of course, it's now, football is now different. Football's played in a different, there's a lot of things that are so different. So you can't compare. It's really, actually, I always felt that I feel that it's impossible to compare over time players or systems or managers. But the situation is quite similar. The club is, at the lowest, and they need to be picked up again. And you need somebody who's strong, who can stand in front of everybody else, and just show leadership and good communication, and to comfort someone like me who is a fan, has been a fan all my life, and give me hope. And at the moment he's doing that.
Fair enough.
I think the problem's the way the club is structured, and there are some news at the moment where, again, another big change at the top. Dave Brailford's leaving, apparently. That was in the Times yesterday. All of that worries me. It just worries me a lot.
Do they ever ask you or some of the old legends to be involved?
Yeah,
to
I mean,
consult,
Dave. So Dave has asked me a lot. Before they came in, I was advising Richard Arnold, who's the CEO. So I've been kind of involved a little bit on an advisory sort of level. But now Dave, if that's the truth, he leaves. I know nobody that I can advise. It scares me a little bit that the lack of somebody like me. I'm not saying me necessarily, but somebody like me who has been around the football club, been in the building up of a good time, and been around the football club I've been an ambassador for the club for many, many years, that understands the ins-out workings of how it's supposed to be when it's good, but also understands how difficult it is to actually perform for Man United. And we are quite a lot of former players who could advise and point in certain directions and make people who's never been in that situation understand how difficult it is. Because you wonder why players, this is what people see, right? You wonder why players who are so good are not so good when they come to Man United. But it's the pressure of being a Man United player is immense. So we lose to Tottenham, for instance, in the Europa League final. Who remembers that? People remember Man United losing it. That's a narrative. That's everywhere in the world. Yeah, Tottenham won a trophy. That's fine. Congratulations. But it's why did Man United not win it? That's everywhere. That's a story. And that tells you how the world is around Man United. Everything that's been done with Man United, every result, every mistake made by a player is amplified, and it's reverberating around the world like this all the time. And it goes on until you don't make a mistake. Now, if you make a mistake for Tottenham, it's in the newspaper the next day, but it's not carrying on. And that's the difference between playing for Man United and playing for other clubs. It's relentless. And if you're not strong mentally, if you're not supported and nurtured from within the club, you're going to suffocate. It's going to be so difficult. This is why it was brilliant to work for somebody like Sir Alex Ferguson, the chairman, Martin Edwards as well. You felt protected. You felt that, when you do your job, you are protected. Of course, if you're not good enough, you will be moved on. But you have to be a certain character to play for the club. And then once you're in, you have to be held by the club. And that's what happened when Sir Alex was there. Now I feel there are too many people in important situations who don't understand that yet. And they're getting all this criticism now through the media. And it's going to be interesting to see how that's going to affect them in decision making going forward. But they're not there to protect Ruben and the players. And this is where my big worries are.
And you lack the culture of the club. I remember I was told the story about Paolo Maldini, who obviously is synonymous with Milan, that there was a young kid that used to come to Milan. He would take them by the hand, he'd walk them around. He said, at Milan, this is what we do. This is how we act. This is how we dress. This is how we respond. This is the car that we drive to training. Yeah. And it feels like also that's a little bit lost at United.
When I came to Old Trafford the first time, I'm thinking I'm now going to sit with the chairman and I'm going to sign a contract. That's what I'm going to do. So I get to his office. He's never met me before. We shake hands, and he said, "Come." So we went 2 hours in the museum, went through everything, make sure I understood exactly what my responsibilities would be if I signed this contract. He wanted to see that. He wanted to look me in the eyes.
Wow.
He wanted to understand who I was and if I was capable of doing that. So I knew, before I even put pen to paper, I knew what my job would be and what the heritage I had to carry on to the next generation and the responsibilities I had to take upon myself becoming a Manchester United player.
Did you feel nervous in that moment when you were doing that? Did it feel like a weight on your shoulder, or was it something that pumped you up and got you really excited?
No, I got really excited about that, really excited. I'm not somebody who's ever felt pressure. I've never felt that it was too big, or I always felt at my best when it was a challenge and something, because I had to convince everybody, my parents, everybody, that what I wanted to do with my life. I only wanted to do one thing, right from when I can remember. I only wanted to do one thing, and that was play for Man United. That was the only thing I wanted in my life. The add-ons to that was like, I also want to play for Denmark and all of that, but Man United was my focal point. Now, I was born in '63. I was 15 years old when they changed the law, and the law that was changed was that everything had to be amateur. So the job that I wanted didn't even exist for 15 years of my life. And then, of course, they changed the law. It takes a long time for that to sort of have an impact on the system. So not until like actually 10 years later, was that job available. I'm already into my professional career by then. And I had to convince everybody that this is what I wanted to do, and especially my parents. My father wanted me to be a pianist. He was forcing me on the piano all the time. No, I want to play football. No one believed that this could happen. I mean, you're from Denmark. No one signs a Danish goalkeeper. So at every junction, I had to convince people that this is what I do. I had to convince them that I'm good enough. And I had to convince them that I wasn't crazy. So that became part of my nature, that it's a challenge.
You had a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. Not necessarily that. No, because I think that carries kind of sort of a negative thing and a bit of arrogance. It was never that. It was just, if people said this can't be done, I would make it happen, because I knew it could be done. You know. So I had all these little sort of fights I had to win along the way. So when I went through the museum, for me, this is the real thing. This is what I wanted to do. I want to be one of the guys who protects all these players. There's a lot of players there who lost their lives for the club in 1958. I want to be one of the guys that brings their legacy into the next period of Manchester United. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And, you know, you can talk about Man United culture forever. I couldn't explain to you what Man United culture is, other than is that, you know, we do everything in our powers to win, but it changes obviously with generations, personalities, and all that. So you can't just say it's one thing, but what it is you do everything you can in your power to win. So even though that it looks, you know, so impossible, you're still trying your very, very best. Absolutely. So just to give you an example of how that is not there, when you look at that final against Tottenham, we put Harry Maguire up front because he's one of those culture barriers for me. You know, he understands Man United. Now I'm going full risk mode. I'm going up there. Now what is the rest of the team doing? They're not changing. They do the same thing. No one's taking the responsibility of trying to create a situation where you can score a goal. Harry's up there, get the ball up into the box, put some more people up there. This is what Man United has always done in their most successful years. And we have only ever seen that once in the last couple of years, and that was in the game against Lyon, when we were 4-2 down into extra time and the game seemed to be lost. And then what happened? In 7 minutes we scored 3 goals and won the game 5-4.
That's the old Man United.
Exactly. And I'm thinking, there's your turning point. Now the players understand.
But I had to step back.
It's difficult to explain, and it's difficult because everyone is under such an immense pressure from everywhere in the world. And I think, and this is human nature, I think, if you're not the strongest person, the strongest mentally, you are afraid to take that responsibility upon yourself, because it requires you to be brave to break that pattern and to break out of that and actually go and do something which is different and something that will surprise your opponents. But what Tottenham did, they just defended, they read as well, and they didn't really have to work hard to win that game. So yeah, there you go.
You said that you had to convince your parents, right, that was your dream. The images of you and Casper are so cute. Even when he was a boy and he's in Old Trafford, and you guys are holding hands. That shot is something that's in my mind. And then to see where he's gone with his career, and then for it to also come full circle, and you as a broadcaster, you're able to interview him. Just talk me through that.
No, they are incredible moments. So I've interviewed Casper, just to start there, in the World Cup, and I've also interviewed him in the Champions League. So just the fact that my son has played the World Cup, European Championship, and interviewed him in the European Championship, and played the Champions League. I mean, come on, these are really, really proud moments for me. But he's also won the FA Cup, which was one of the dreams that I had as a kid, was to win the FA Cup. Because the FA Cup was broadcasted in its entirety, every round was on Danish TV. So it became a really, really big tournament in our country. So I wanted to win that. And I managed to do that. I mean, I played in a great team, so it was expected of us. But Casper won it with Leicester. It was never expected of Leicester to win the FA Cup. So he won that. I mean, and Casper played an absolute blind in that game as well. So of course, I'm very, very proud. But they won the Premier League with Leicester. And I have to say, for everything that I've done in football, everything, and I played with incredible players, against incredible players. I won literally every trophy apart from the World Cup that I competed for. To be on the pitch that day at the King Power Stadium in Leicester, and to watch my son lift that trophy, that is the proudest moment I have of all my footballing life. So yes, I mean, unbelievable. I love this story. There's a story. So 2 years prior to this event, where they win it, 2 years prior, I live in Denmark by then, I'm taking a group of friends across to Old Trafford to watch a game. We're in a box, and Casper doesn't have a game that day, so I asked him to come and be part of this group, and he did. It was incredible. At this point, this is the last time we are defending champions. So when we have a trophy, we defend the trophy. It always goes around every box, and there's a photographer following, the trophy. So you can have a photograph taken with the trophy, and and it gets to our box. The Premier League trophy gets to our box, and everyone is very, very brilliant. But Casper's kind of reluctant. He's over here. At this point, he's with Leicester and then the Championship. They're not even in the Premier League. They're in the Championship, but they're doing well. It looks like they're going to be promoted. So they all go, "Come on, Casper, come on." No, you go, "No, I don't. Come on." And he goes, "Okay." And then he sat there with the trophy and everyone around him. And he goes, "But next time I'm being photographed with this, that's because I won it."
No way.
So they win promotion. They have a season where they are rock bottom all the way. At Christmas, they're rock bottom. No team has ever survived the Premier League being rock bottom at Christmas. They've got 11 games to go. They're rock bottom. And they go on this unbelievable run where they win 9 and draw 1 and lose 1 game to finish 14th, I think, in the Premier League. And then the next year they win it.
Incredible.
So the next time he was photographed with the trophy was because he'd won it.
Wow. What a beautiful story. Came full circle.
Came full circle.
Wow. What's your one of your best memories or funnest memory working at CBS? Because you've had a lot. There's so many in the studio, but is there one that sticks out in particular?
There's maybe not one, but when we first started out, I get a phone call from my agent, CBS in America's got the rights. You know, they've got the rights, and you know they want you on. You know, you fancy, yeah. And the next day, or even the same day, there's a Zoom conversation with Pete Radovic. And it's all really, really quick. Yeah, we want you on board, blah, blah. And this is in lockdown, COVID. And the end games, there's a lot of games, there's a few games not been played yet. They decided, UEFA decided to finish all the games in Lisbon. There are two stadiums, only like a mile apart. The Estádio da Luz and Sporting Stadium. And they say, you're going there. All right? Yeah, fine. So I'm one of 200 people who actually goes and watches the end game.
That's pretty cool.
I felt incredibly privileged that I was there. And it was the beginning of what has happened since. And I always look back to that period where, whoa, I got picked by someone in America to go here. And I'm one of 200 people who are allowed into the stadium. I mean, this is incredible, you know? So we go through this period of lockdown. So I've said about Paris, I got to Paris quite a lot because you could go to Paris. So you get these incredible experiences where you see something and you hear something that you normally wouldn't do because of crowd noise, for instance. So the beginning of my time with CBS, I actually got to know the players, who they were. For instance, Thomas Müller. This is a good example. Thomas Müller is somebody, you know, he's up here, won the Champions League so many times. He's just an incredible player, and you know that. He's renowned for always finding the space. Yeah. He's always in a pocket that you can never find out where he is. And you know that because you've seen that, right? But what was added to that in Lisbon was the voice. This guy is talking non-stop, even when he's running, even when he gets into these positions, he talks and helps his teammate. And that was a revelation. Oh my God, he's just added an extra layer to that. So that for me was something completely new. When you play, you hear another noise and all that, but you don't listen to what they're saying because you're focused on what. Now I added this extra bit, and for me that was really, really big.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and of course you get a lot of interviews. One of the funniest interviews I've taken, what I've actually conducted, was with Donnarumma.
Oh, so, nice.
I'm speaking to Donnarumma all the time. He speaks English. So I'm asking the first question, and he's actually hooked up with the studio as well. Okay. And he replies in Italian. And I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? So and then the next question comes, but on socials, on CBS socials, they put this out as a gimmick, and they focus on me, and they're kind of writing what I'm thinking. Oh yeah, I understand. But what they didn't know was what they put out, what I was thinking, was exactly what I was thinking at the time.
That's funny.
And it's so funny. So for me, that's kind of funny.
That's great.
Yeah.
One last thing, since it's about Italian keepers, I saw Gianluigi Buffon said that they need to make the goal a little bit bigger. Did you see this?
For Donnarumma?
No, not for Donnarumma. In general, he said we need to make so that there's more goals and things like that. Do you agree? Or maybe he's trying to protect his records so that they score a little bit more goals.
I think that is definitely protecting his legacy. I've been involved in discussions about making them smaller, but discussions based on women's football. How do we improve goalkeeping and all that? And my view has always been, for me, don't change it. Don't change it. No, don't change it. And don't change it for the women, because I kind of always felt if you make the goals smaller, it's kind of degrading for the women. It's telling women that you can't play football. You're not good enough to defend. I would much rather, go in and spend a lot of energy on how do you improve goalkeeping.
Okay.
And I think it's already happening, and I'm glad they never made the decision, because I really do feel that it wasn't the right thing to do. And I use the same argument. Just make the strikers better. Just take chances in different areas. Just have more shots, So don't change it.
Fair enough.
Gigi is he's protecting himself.
Exactly. He doesn't want anyone to overtake him. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoy the rest of your time in Zadar and at the Sunset Sports Festival.
I don't know if all that noise is going through, but
I think it's for you. They're listening.
Yeah.
Thank you, Peter.
Well done.
Appreciate you. Bravo.
Thank you. Oops.
Welcome back to Sunset Sessions, hosted by Marco Messina. And today, I'm very excited to have Barbara Patti.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Welcome to Croatia. Oh, not Croatia, Zadar.
Yeah, thank you.
You're not from Zadar,
yeah,
right?
no, I'm from Split.
You're from Split?
Yes, it's about 1.5 hours far from here.
Very nice. And it's your first time though in Sunset.
Yes, first time Sunset Medalist.
What's your feeling? Because we just came off of 2 incredible panels. It was
Yes.
so much fun about boxing.
I was a little bit nervous before the panel. I said I had more nervous today than before the Olympic Games. So.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Come on.
But I think it went very good. So now I'm relaxed and chill. Everything is good.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I'm happy about that. And you told me that you're going to be training tomorrow?
Yeah, I hope so
Malik?
with Malik. Yes. We will.
First time doing boxing?
Yes, first time ever. We will see how it goes.
Are you excited?
Yeah.
This should be fun.
Yeah.
I've learned how passionate Croatians are. They're some of the most passionate people I've come across. And I can only imagine what that was like for you when you came back from Croatia after the Olympics, after winning gold.
Yeah.
Can you try to explain in words what that was like?
I don't know how about try, but I had like fun times when I first on the airport the people came. Then we had a football match, Hajduk from Split against the club from Osijek. And then at my home club where I train, a lot of people came and everyone was like applause for me, and I was really happy and proud to see that crowd of people, a lot of people that I don't know who they are. Some grandparents from other people, a lot of new people, a lot of kids telling me how proud they are to know me, and they won't be me in the future. So I was like, really, oh, thank you.
What was your family's reaction in that moment?
They were very, very happy. With me in Paris were mom and dad, and my sister. She was also a judo player, but she gave birth like 2 weeks before the Olympics, so she stayed at home. And she was the first one I called on the FaceTime, and she was like, "Why aren't you crying?" And I said, "I don't know why." I was still in shock, but she was all like full of emotions, and I think that she's one of my biggest supports. So she is sad that she wasn't there with me, but she watched all, and she said to her husband, "You need to take day off because I don't know, will I handle that by myself and with the kids alone at home."
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I could see that it was really emotional
Yeah.
for you. Do you think about it a lot?
Yes, well, she's really my biggest support, but I think after almost 1 year after that, I think I'm not aware how that big result was. Maybe in the future, when maybe I move off from the judo, when I will see, or when someone else will do the same result or try to do, maybe I will be more aware of what kind of result was that.
You said your sister is in the same sport.
She was, yes. After she gave birth, she now had second child, but she was also world junior champion. After that, she quit.
Did you guys ever train together?
Yes.
And who would win?
No, we didn't fall together because of my mom and parents.
They said no?
No, they didn't say, but they didn't like. So we said, okay, one time I let her win, and other time she let me. And then, but we trained together. But coach says that he was happy to finally we grew up, and now we can train together. But that was not good because or we had love too much, and then or we got fight. So that wasn't good. but we were together on the tournaments and everything, and sleeping together and everything.
How about the new generation? You have anybody in the family or family friends that you guys are starting to train?
My nephew, her first kid, the son, he's now first grade of the primary school, and he started with the judo.
Really?
Yeah.
So you guys have inspired him to follow in the same footsteps?
Yes, it's like a family tradition now, so he needs to try, but he likes it for now, so we will see in the future. I hope I won't be that auntie go, but I hope he will like it. But I just said, enjoy, have fun, and don't care about results. It will come if you like it.
Is that the message? Is the message just focus on the training,
yes,
not
always.
just the wins?
I think that you need to love what you do, and then if you work hard and if you're dedicated, disciplined, I think the hard work pays off always.
That's
so
interesting.
You need to love what you do.
Yeah, that's so interesting though, because obviously hearing some of these panels, everyone's so competitive, so you think sometimes you have to focus on the win, but you say just keep the training going, and then eventually the rest will follow.
Yeah, sometimes you train and you lose on the matches, and then you're asking yourself, well, why I'm doing this and I'm doing this good, but you just need to, okay, today was a bad day, tomorrow I will train more, and I will try to be better than me yesterday. And I always said that don't compare yourself to another one, compare with your yesterday you, so you try to be better you tomorrow, and that is how we will grow and be better every day.
That's a good lesson, not just for judo, also for life.
Yeah.
You said when you arrived back, you had all little kids coming up to you saying that they inspired. Do you still get that today when you walk around? If you go even in Zadar, Split, no matter where?
Yes. After the Olympics, like 1 month after, everywhere, store, I don't know, a restaurant, beach, everywhere where I come, everyone is, oh, can we take a photo? Oh, this is Barbara Matic. How about you? We cheer for you at the Olympics. My heart was really, really big. And for now, still all the, I think, younger generation from judo, I think they're like, I want to, especially the girls, like, I want to be like you. And I feel that we have Grand Prix in Zagreb, so I feel when everyone comes there and watch me and the whole sports hall is cheering your name, is pretty awesome. Yeah.
Does it feel even more special because obviously Croatia, incredible at sports, but football, boxing, MMA, all these things, judo is smaller than that.
Yes.
So you really had the entire country rallying around you.
Yes, it's a really big thing because I remember when I started senior level, like 10, 12 years ago, the judo was, oh, is it taekwondo or karate? Like, what is that? And now the people know about judo. I'm just almost understood all the rules, and I think that and the media, everyone is like more interested in judo. And before, I remember my first newspaper article was like, you need microscope for looking at that. But now, when I won big results, I am on double page, and a lot of people are more interested in judo.
That's awesome. How did you even get into it if it was so small?
Yeah, I started when I was almost 7.
But how did you even find it?
Just my coaches came in the school and show us what is judo, and it was I said it was like funny story, judo or ballet. In my primary school, I need to choose because it was if you enter the school, one way was ballet and the other way was judo, and I said I was a little chubby, and I said okay, I don't see myself dancing, I will go judo, and I started judo when I was almost 7, and I didn't change the sport.
How many of the kids in the class chose ballet and how many went to judo?
A lot of girls will start with the ballet and then skip it, then change to judo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and some of them were simultaneously doing both and stay on judo and left ballet. Yes, because there was a group, we were a very big group of kids together. We went together to school, then after school and training, and we were having fun really, and then competitions, medals and everything. And in ballet you just dance and you have one dance at the end of the year, but judo is I think more fun.
What do you think makes Croatia and Croatians so special in sports specifically? Because it's the less than 4 million people, yet you seem to punch above your weight in basically every category. What do you think it is about? What does it say about Croatians?
I think that because maybe we are a small country and we want ourselves to see in the world. Maybe we want to show up, especially in Split, from my hometown. We call it dishpet. It's like kind of I don't know how to say it in English, but it's
What is it called?
Dishpet.
Dishpet.
Yes, it's like if you say me, you can do it. I say, oh yes, I can.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, I think we have that in our blood, so maybe.
A lot of people who have sat on this couch today have said similar things. Is it something that you're taught in like school, by your parents, by grandparents, or is it seeing the examples?
Not so, but just like you see a lot of sport guys before you do the big things, and I can show you an example with Janica Kostelic. She's a ski girl, and Croatia doesn't have a lot of mountains. We doesn't have snow, and she was like number 1.
Oh wow!
Yes, and she had she has now still, but she's not active now. She has 5 Olympic medals, 4 golds. She's like, and after her, we all watch now skiing every Saturday and Sunday because of her. Even though we don't have results like she did.
Dishpet. I'm going to add it to my list of Croatian words so that I remember and I tell people when they see them. I think it's so funny. Obviously, judo, it's so intense. It's physically demanding. Are you like in pain all the time?
Sometimes, yeah. After the Olympics, I had like 2 or 3 weeks like passive pause. I didn't do anything, and I start my muscles and my old injuries was coming back, and I was calling my coach. I said, I need to go on trainings. I feel pain, and I don't know why. I don't do nothing. So it's better for me to feel the pain because of training, not because of I'm laying on the couch. So I think it's normal because it's like we are like material sports, so mixed martial arts. So we are fighting all day, and we train hard because I think in judo you need to be quick and explosive. You need to have a tactic, technique, everything. So we need all components, and we need different kind of trainings, so to get better in every part of it.
As if being a gold medalist wasn't enough, then you got your master's in electrical engineering.
How did you know that?
Yeah, right. We know a little bit. How did that come about? I tried to avoid school as much as possible. If I could have played a sport, I never would have showed up to school. You decided to go and do even more.
Yeah, because judo was not so popular before, and my mom was afraid of big injuries, and I was good at school. Also, I like math and physics, so I was like, okay, I will try with the school also, because like, okay, if I can manage both of that, that's better. So sometimes I need to choose between the exam and sometimes between exam or competition.
What'd you choose?
So it depends. Sometimes exam, sometimes competition. I was able to do that because I'm like individual sport, not the team sport. So sometimes when I have like 2 hours of pause between the lessons on my university, I go on a training with my coach and I do some technical trainings. But if you are like in team sport, you can't do that. So I think I was able to do that because I'm like individual, and my coach was also into it, and he was like my support. He wants me to, because I said, okay, I want to do school also. He said, okay, we will try to do both, and now everyone is like, okay, she also finished master degree.
Yeah. That's a nice little brag.
Yes. No.
Also, electrical engineering.
Yes,
not
but
easy.
I don't think so. I will do with it.
Not use it.
I think I will stay in sport after career. I don't know in which way, but I think I will stay in sport.
And I've seen you've tried to be involved with the Croatian committee to try to, inspire the next generation and to spread this, maybe go back even to schools, just like it was taught to you?
Yes, maybe one day. Now I'm also the vice president of the Croatian Olympic Committee. So I'm still like in some kind of pause after the Olympics. I train, but not as hard as before. And now I'm like, will I continue to LA or I'm quitting? So and everyone said maybe Europeans or world, and I said no. If I will go back again in all that drill and everything, I want to go because I want medal again on the Olympic Games. But if not, then I will just need to find what inspires me in other way. But I'm still choosing.
It seems like trusting your gut your entire life has paid off. So I'm sure that you'll make the right decision on this time again. Barbara, it's such a pleasure. Thank you for coming to Sunset, and thank you for talking to us on this session.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Fala.
Fala. Was good?
Yes.
Yeah,
so nice. Thank you so much.